Hi guys, welcome to Dubs Only Sports. This is episode 33. We're gonna jump right into things. A lot of NFL trades. Free agency
Free
just opened
agency is
up.
going on right now. Free agency has started.
So that's what we're gonna talk about. Um, is there anything you want to address? I mean, we have
Oh, okay. I want to start off with something before we get into free agency. It's still
yeah,
about the NFL. I want to get into it. The combine just happened. The
okay.
combine just happened.
Yeah.
Everyone's been talking about the top four QBs: Bryce Young,
Yep.
CJ Stroud,
Yep.
Anthony Richardson,
Yep.
Will Levis.
Uh-huh. I
I
swear to
genuinely,
God. I swear to God. Keep going.
I genuinely don't know what's gonna happen, and I don't know what should happen because
Uh-huh.
I don't know, man. The only thing that I'm sure about is that Will Levis is the fourth best quarterback out of that group. That's the only thing that I'm sure about. Because honestly, I don't know who should go number one overall. I really don't, and I don't know who will. Because the Panthers just traded to get the number one pick. They traded with the
hmm
Bears. And everyone's saying that um their general manager or their owner really likes Bryce Young and their coach Frank Reich really likes CJ Stroud. But then there's some other reports that they might want to trade the pick. They might want to get Anthony Richardson. Who knows, honestly? Who knows? And when we look at this, Bryce Young is probably the most talented out of all three. CJ Stroud is probably the safest bet because he's good and he's big, he's durable. He has everything. He's just good at everything. He just
Yeah.
checks all the boxes. And then
hmm
Anthony Richardson is the most talented by far. I mean, this guy can run a 4.4, throw it as far like 75 yards, and just absolutely is a tank, bro. That guy's like 240 pounds, all muscle, total
hmm
tank. So I don't know, man. I could easily see a team drafting Anthony Richardson, and if they find a way to get the best out of him, man, he could be a good quarterback. But again, he didn't do that well in college. He had a lot of ups and downs, and it's really going to take a good franchise to turn him around. But I think, in my opinion, I don't know who to go number one overall, man. I really don't. I mean, because Bryce Young is great. I think that Bryce Young, if he was a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, he's the number one guy. But I'm gonna go with
Well,
Bryce Young. I'm gonna go with Bryce Young as the number one overall pick. I mean, I just CJ Stroud's really good, but he played at Ohio State. He was playing with five-star wide receivers at every single position. This is an absolutely stacked roster against terrible defense. He did play really well against Georgia, which was very impressive. But and I think he's going to be a great quarterback. But I just think that Bryce Young has that moxie. He's that it factor, and I don't know if CJ Stroud has it to the same extent. I just have Bryce Young. He has a chip on his shoulder. Everyone's making a big issue about his size, but he's the same size as Kyler Murray. And I don't I mean Kyler Murray was playing well before he got injured. He's not a bad quarterback. So
yeah.
I think that I would go with Bryce Young. I'm a little concerned about the injuries like everyone's talking about, but I don't think that their rationale for not picking him is kind of stupid. They're like, oh, he's not big, so he's gonna get injured. That's not how it works, but that's fine. Drew Brees is one of the best QBs ever. I think Bryce Young is Drew Brees. That's my comp. Drew Brees, Bryce Young. That's my comp. They're very similar. I think that's the comp for him. For
hmm
me, Anthony Richardson is kind of like a Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson kind of hybrid. He is very fast. He's faster than Josh Allen, but he's like built, he's very big. Lamar Jackson's very slight, but he's very big. I'm just a little concerned that Josh Allen's arm is a little more he I don't know, it just seems a little more it's not precise by any stretch. It's a little more precise. Anthony Richardson is very raw, but I think he has the potential to be arguably the best quarterback in the league. But I think that my QB ranking system is that I think that Bryce Young at number one, CJ Stroud at number two, just because he's a safe bet. Anthony Richardson at number three, but he could be the best out of all four of these guys, and then Will Levis a distant fourth place. He's the same thing as Anthony Richardson, except he's not as fast. So like,
Yeah.
why would you pick him if there's no reason to pick Will Levis ahead of any of these guys. There's no actual reason to pick Will Levis ahead of Anthony Richardson, CJ Stroud, or Bryce Young.
Yeah. Yeah. And when we're talking about the number one overall pick in the draft, I don't think it's going to be Will Levis. I don't think it's going to be Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, it's gonna be Bryce Young or
I
CJ
don't
Stroud
think
though.
it's going to be CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to be Bryce Young either.
Who's it gonna be? Like you?
Yeah, they're gonna pick me. No, because think about it. The Panthers and Bears just made the trade so that the Panthers gave away more and they got the number 1 pick in return. And
Yeah.
they've just signed Andy Dalton.
Dude, they're signing him
So
as a backup, genius.
I don't think they are, bro, because the Panthers are that kind of team to be that dumb.
Dude, stop. That's such cap. You sound like an idiot right now. They are 100% going to draft a quarterback. I am willing to put all the money that you won on your bets on them. They are a lot to draft the
I'm just
quarterback.
saying, like that
I'm
Andy
not.
that
I
Andy
don't.
Dalton
The
trade
Panthers.
is a little
No.
suspicious.
That's ridiculous. Andy Dalton is the backup quarterback. The Panthers will draft a quarterback. I don't know which one, and I don't know if they might trade back. They might trade back, but I don't know. They are 100% going to draft a quarterback. But getting into NFL free agency, getting into all the moves.
Whoa,
The
whoa,
biggest
whoa,
move.
whoa!
What? What?
I don't know what
You
you're
were
gonna
saying
say,
some
but
stupid shit. You were saying
I'm
some
I'm
stupid shit, bro.
I'm not I don't know what biggest move you're talking about, but well,
Can I talk?
what team are you talking about?
The biggest move in free agency so far has been the trade. It's not even free agency. The biggest move has been the trade for the number 1 pick. The number 1 pick is being sent from Chicago to Carolina, and Carolina is sending 4 picks and DJ Moore to the Chicago Bears. The Bears are getting 2 firsts and 2 seconds, I think. And the Bears won this trade, man. I mean, this is a haul. They got a haul. I mean, I think they get the number 9 overall pick, if I'm not mistaken. I think Carolina's the number 9 overall pick for this year.
Mhm. Yeah.
DJ Moore is one of the best young wide receivers in football. That gives Justin Fields a really good option at wide receiver. And now they can draft an O lineman at 9, a defensive lineman at 9,
Yeah.
another trade back and draft receiver. Now they have multiple picks over the next few years that they can use to really build a roster around Justin Fields. I think people were saying this. I think this is kind of like the Eagles situation with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
But again, the Eagles, of course, had more talent than the Bears do right now. But I feel like this over the next few years can kind of be similar. The Eagles, Poles is doing a great job. I think that this team has a lot of potential to be a good team in 2 to 3 to 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, simply put,
That's it? You have nothing?
no. I mean, it makes
Okay.
sense.
All right. Now we got to talk about.
Whoa, wait,
Go ahead. What do you want to talk
wait.
about then? What do you want to talk about?
Um, while ago, way too many episodes ago, I made the statement that the Raiders and the Texans just genuinely should not be NFL teams anymore.
Yeah.
And I want to come onto this episode and apologize for what I said and say that I was wrong for saying that, because the Texans and the Raiders, they obviously shouldn't be USFL teams next year, right? They just shouldn't be football teams in general, because
What does that even mean?
if you don't know already, the Raiders signed Jimmy Garoppolo, which baffles me. But it doesn't just end there. I wish it did, but it doesn't, right? I had a whole take on Lamar Jackson going to the Raiders. It made the most feasible sense for Lamar Jackson to go to the Raiders. That just didn't happen. And that's okay. I'm fine with that. It is what it is.
Go ahead.
Usually it is what it is, right? So the Raiders, with so much potential on their team, right, could have signed genuinely any quarterback, because we're talking about Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers were also in the mix on all of this, right? Jimmy Garoppolo name was not mentioned at all. Derek Carr left the Saints and they're like, all right, we're looking into Tom Brady, and then he retired. We're looking into Aaron Rodgers, even though his, favorite sugar daddy went to Jets. Jimmy Garoppolo was not mentioned at all. And the fact that they could have signed genuinely any quarterback that was looking for a new team, and the fact that they signed Jimmy Garoppolo, right? So
Porn star Jimmy? Porn star Jimmy? You don't like porn star Jimmy?
no. So for starters, right, it's a bad trade for the Raiders because they need a better quarterback than that.
Signing, not a trade, bro. It's a signing.
It's a better signing for the Raiders because they need a better quarterback. It's bad for the 49ers because they now
They weren't going
have.
to sign him. They weren't going to sign him anyway.
I understand that, but they should have gotten a better deal than just letting Jimmy G go. Because Jimmy G
Why?
is still a decent quarterback.
Yeah, but
For the
they already have
49ers,
to-
he was all right. And now they're
No.
dealing with Trey Lance and Brock Purdy being their 1 and 2 in no particular order.
Bro, they have Sam Darnold, bro.
That's right. Oh my God, they fixed all
Oh
their
my God, we're winning the
problems
Super Bowl.
with
We're winning the
Sam
Super
Darnold.
Bowl.
So
He
the
went to
49ers,
USC. He's a bum, bro. He's a straight bum.
anyways,
Go to fucking yeah.
49ers off their rockers. The Raiders off their rockers. Not only that, whoa.
I'm confused.
Whoa,
I'm
whoa,
very
whoa,
confused.
whoa.
What's your problem with the Raiders right now? I don't understand. What's your biggest problem with them?
I'm going into it, right?
We'll be more anime. Let's go.
Okay. The Texans were also in cahoots about getting Jimmy G. Jimmy G going to the Texans makes sense.
Okay.
Jimmy G going to the Raiders does not make sense.
Why?
Okay. Because the Raiders can do so much better. Like so much better. Like Lamar Jackson still up for grabs. Aaron Rodgers still up for grabs. Aaron Rodgers is literally asking the entire Jets facility to sign every Packers wide receiver.
The Jets?
Even though he was complaining about every Packers wide receiver.
No, exactly. It makes no sense.
Ago.
It makes absolutely no sense. But
like he complained so much about it.
Let's stick with that. Wait, let's stick with the Raiders first. Then we'll get to Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, the Raiders. Okay, so the Raiders, right? The Raiders. So they signed Jimmy G. Problem number one. Problem number two, they get rid of Darren Waller. And you guys don't know this about me. I am a fanatic for Kelsey Plum. And recently in the news, right? And I don't want to come across as weird. I just like the way she plays. Even though she went to Washington, that's a big thing for me because I went to Oregon. I didn't go to Oregon. I am a fan of Oregon. It's just, I like the way that she plays. And just like her overall vibe is great, right? Kelsey Plum, goddess, right? But she recently got married to Darren Waller. And it was the spectacle of Vegas for like a week just for him to get traded to the Giants.
Bro. My God, that's so crazy.
So that's problem number two. Oh, you can go. You can go. Before we get into my last problem, you can say something.
Yeah. Let me just get into this. I know, like, the Raiders are so dysfunctional. It's actually ridiculous. I don't understand what they're trying to do. They need to sell the team, man. They need to get a new owner. This team's an absolute joke. We talked about this earlier in the year when they lost to, I forget who it was, but like late in the season, we just absolutely started roasting the Raiders. And I'm going right back at it. This team makes no sense.
It was after after the snow globe play from the Chiefs game. Remember?
It was after, some stupid thing. They just terrible team. And then what they decided to do, they last offseason traded for Devontae Adams, who was the best wide receiver at the time in the NFL. Okay. They had Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs, Derek Carr, and now Devontae Adams. They had expectations to win the AFC West. This was just one season ago, right?
Yeah.
This year, they had a terrible season. They lost a ton of close games. They totally choked. They have no identity, no culture, no nothing, no toughness, no defensive identity, terrible coach. Their QB had to leave. And this is what happened now. Derek Carr is on the Saints.
Yep.
They just traded Darren Waller for a third-round pick, even though he's arguably one of the best tight ends in football. Josh Jacobs is not happy that Darren Waller left. Devontae Adams is not happy, as we saw by both of their tweets in the last few days.
Yep.
And they just signed Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yep.
Now, don't get me wrong. Jimmy Garoppolo, solid NFL QB, deserves a starting job. Are you going to win a Super Bowl with him? Hell fucking no, you're not winning a Super Bowl with Jimmy G. Hell fucking no, you're not winning a Super Bowl with Jimmy G. Jimmy G had the best defense in the NFL for multiple seasons and still couldn't win the Super Bowl. You think he's going to win it with one of the worst defenses in the NFL? Absolutely no shot. They will be lucky if they sniff 500 next year in that division, which is stacked. They are going to finish fourth in the AFC West next year. Yeah. Fourth by a large margin. The Broncos are going to be back with Sean Payton. Russell Wilson's going to have a comeback year. We were talking about how this could be the worst trade ever. I think Russell Wilson's going to have a bounce back season next year with Sean Payton. They're going to be a solid team. The Chargers should be a solid team. The Chiefs are the best team in the NFL. Okay. The Raiders have literally they already started so low and they're just continuing to go downhill. I mean, they're trying to They're trying to burrow into the center of the earth, bro. This team is such a joke. I mean, they think they're hedgehogs or something. They think they're trying to burrow all the way into the depths of
Hedgehogs,
hell.
that's wild. Hedgehogs don't burn into the earth. So prairie
Now they
dogs.
do. Now they do. Now they do. So it's okay. It's
But it
okay. The
gets
Raiders.
worse. No, 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 no. It gets worse for the Raiders. Okay. Let me paint a scenario for you, right? It's week 15, right?
Huh?
You've got the Las Vegas Raiders, you've got the New England Patriots, right? The game is tied 24-24. It
Huh?
is 3rd and 10. Mac Jones is snapping the ball on his own 44-yard line. He
Huh?
hands the ball off, or he somehow gets the ball to Jacoby Myers. And Jacoby Myers, instead of running the clock out, decides to try and throw the ball back 24 yards in order to give the Patriots some glimmer of hope for the dying seconds of the game in order to win the game. It does not go that way. The Raiders intercept the ball and take it to the house for a walk-off pick six, right? The Raiders witnessed that play in their home stadium and when you know who we need to get? Jacoby Myers. What is going on in Vegas, man? Like, this poverty franchise has got to go. The fact that literally 2 weeks ago, they had so much potential and so much talent on their team to go from that to arguably being the worst team in the league, even worse than the Texans right now. Because the Texans still have a they still have the second overall pick locked.
Yeah.
And they blundered that because Lovie Smith had beef with the head offices in Houston. Right? That's
As
the
he
only reason
should.
why.
As he should,
We
bro.
love Lovie Smith out here, man.
We
We
love
recorded
Lovie
that
Smith.
episode before we found out what happened. And
And
when
he
we
got
found out what
fired, bro.
happened, we loved it. We loved it. We love Lovie Smith. We want him to come back. He should be the coach of the
Yeah.
Raiders. But
They do better than they are now.
yeah, so Raiders are worse than they were 2 weeks ago, even though they had all the assets to be one of the better teams in the league. Looking at trades like, well, for me personally, I'm an Eagles fan. I saw that Austin Eckler was like seeking a trade or talks about him seeking a trade. I got a little bit excited. I was all like, hey, we're a team that signs a lot of running backs because we literally had 3 of them last season and we've already gotten rid of one. What's the, why not add another one? And instead of getting Austin Eckler, we got Rashad Penny. And Rashad Penny for the Seahawks, a pretty consistent guy. And, not only that, but we re-signed Bradbury. We did get rid of Hargrave and we got rid of someone else that I'm blanking on. And it's just so sad
I'm not an
that I
Eagles fan.
choose
That's
not to
okay
think
for
about.
you, but
Yeah, so that's that. But yeah, I mean, the Raiders are brutal right now. And other than that, there isn't
let's just
really.
summarize it. Let's just summarize what they did. So last year they traded for Devontae Adams. They had high expectations to make it to the playoffs, potentially win the division. This year they've already lost Darren Waller to the Giants.
Yeah.
They lost Hunter Renfrow has been hurt. Josh Jacobs is not happy. Devontae Adams is not happy. They've both been tweeting out. They lost Derek Carr to the Saints. Now they signed Jimmy Garoppolo as a last resort. They're not going to get Lamar Jackson now. They're not going to get Aaron Rodgers. They're not going to draft the quarterback. So, like, I mean, let's say that they do draft a quarterback.
Well, they did get rid of their backup.
They did, so they might draft a quarterback.
They
They
might.
might draft a quarterback, but like I don't want a quarterback to go there because then their career's gonna be over. Like I don't want a quarterback to go to Oakland. I feel bad for
Oakland.
them. They should go to Oakland because again, the Las Vegas Raiders are trash. I said it before. Go back to Oakland. This team's pathetic. Karma is a bitch.
They just
You should
shouldn't
have
be a
stayed in
team.
Oakland. They shouldn't be a team. They should leave. This is a terrible franchise, terrible ownership. We said it before. They're going to hell.
What he said. Yeah, and I mean, other things.
Oh,
Matt
we got to
Ryan
talk about
got.
Aaron Rodgers, bro. We got to talk about Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers, bro.
First of all, Matt Ryan
Aaron,
got cut by the Colts. That's all I want to say.
Aaron,
He's gonna resign.
Aaron Rodgers. We talked about him before.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. We talked about him before. The hype in New York City about Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets is out of bounds. It is out of bounds. Okay, let's be clear. Aaron Rodgers has decided after his retreat his isolation retreat in a isolated room for 4 days. He left after 2 days, but after 2 whole days of meditation in darkness, this man has decided to come out, to peek out, to come out of his burrow and tell the Jets to sign every single former Green Bay Packers wide receiver that has ever existed in humankind. I'm honestly at this point, I'm surprised that Donald Driver, that's Sterling Sharp, that freaking, I mean, Jordy Nelson, bro, Greg Jennings, Mark, get all to New York because the 2010 Packers, they're going to win. The 1995 Packers, the 2007 Packers, they're all going to win the Super Bowl in 2023 with the New York Jets, 2024 with the New York Jets.
Family reunion.
It's ridiculous. They signed Randall Cobb. Didn't they just sign Randall Cobb?
Lazard.
They're trying to sign Lazard.
No, they did sign Lazard. They signed Lazard.
They did sign Lazard. They're trying to sign Randall Cobb.
Yeah.
It's so confusing at this point because why? Why would the Jets decide to do this? Okay. The Jets are so desperate to be a relevant team that they will literally sacrifice the 5 years that they built this team just to get Aaron Rodgers, just to make it to the playoffs and lose in the first round, and then for Aaron Rodgers to retire and go smoke weed in Jamaica. That's what they're gonna do. That's what they're gonna do. So, I mean, I feel bad for the Jets. They should honestly sign Joe Namath off the injured reserve. I know he's like 85 years old, but get him in that fur coat. He'll do it. He'll get him back to the Super Bowl. But I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, the Jets, even if the Jets get Aaron Rodgers, Mr. Aaron Rodgers, the fraud himself, straight out of the playoffs. Doesn't matter, bro. That's what you understand, bro. The Kansas City Chiefs, better than the Jets. The Chargers, same as the Jets. Both very talented teams that choke all the time. The third team, the Broncos. The Broncos are just as good as the Jets. You look at the other divisions. You look at the Ravens. If they keep Lamar Jackson, who knows? They're a good team. The Bengals, better than the Jets. Who else am I forgetting? Oh, the Miami Dolphins, who just traded for Jalen Ramsey.
And
they
Mike
already
White.
have Xavier Howard, Tua, Tyreek Hill. They have the two of the best wide receivers in football, two of the best corners in football, some of the best defensive ends in football. The Miami Dolphins, the Buffalo Bills, the Jets will make it playoffs if they have Aaron Rodgers. But I mean, they want the guy that's going to be smoking weed in Jamaica in March. It's okay. It's okay.
That is wild. That Joe Namath comment was wild.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Namath, honestly, come out of retirement, man. 80 years old. Sling that ball for the New York Jets. Sling it. He's better than Zach Wilson. That's all I got to say, bro. Zach Wilson needs to go into reality TV, man. That guy should go on Perfect Match.
He needs to go on Big Brother.
Man, Zach Wilson can't play football, man. It's okay. Him and Will Levis can go join Perfect Match next year. And Aaron Rodgers can go smoke his weed in Jamaica. Joe Namath will come out of retirement, 85 years old, and lead the Jets to the same thing that they would do without Joe Namath, with Zach Wilson, with Aaron Rodgers, losing the first round of the playoffs, man.
There you go. That's going to do it for us, guys. Make sure to subscribe, follow our Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, follow us on Spotify, YouTube. Let us know how you feel, if you hate us, if you like us, if you agree with us, if you disagree with us, feel free. We've been talking for literal months now about having a episode just designated to you guys, the fans, the commenters, and that should be coming up pretty shortly. And then also we might have a little bloopers video here and there because we record a lot, and a lot of the stuff that we do beforehand is just us kind of, it's just kind of our what's the word that I'm looking for?
I don't know what word you're looking for.
It's just how we vibe off of one another, and we have some funny moments, we have some immature moments, so look out for that, and we will see you guys in the next one. Peace out, y'all.